capital to His Holiness Baselios Marthoma Paulose II, the 91st Catholicos and the Malankara Metropolitan. I am Rintu Thomas, your compere for this evening. His Holiness Baselios Marthoma Paulose II and the other bishops would be arriving shortly on the dais. In the meanwhile, the choir will be rendering the song Tob Shlom. Now light the lamp. His Holiness will now light the lamp. I request the congregation to join the choir in their next song, Velavu Niranjorisho. The choir will now render the next song, Mahasammelanam. His Holiness and the other bishops will now proceed to receive our esteemed guests who are expected shortly. Please be seated. Thank you. We will now screen a short 7-minute documentary on the activities of the church.
The words of Saint Thomas, one of the 12 apostles of Jesus Christ, who reached India in AD 52, within 2 decades of the crucifixion and resurrection of Christ, reverberates in the hearts and minds of over 2 million Indian Orthodox Christians even after 2 millennia. In the early years, the church which flourished in this country lived in peace with other religions, but mainly confined to Kerala. In fact, the church owes its existence to the avid cooperation and support it received from the rulers and common people. However, internally, the church did face many challenges during its existence. The steadfast faith and the innate quality of leadership shown by the clergy in overcoming such crises made it survive all such difficulties it faced over the years. The fervor for the freedom of faith and a nationalist outlook was manifested in the church with the Kunan Cross Oath in 1653 in Mattancherry, Kerala. This has come to be known as the first voice of Indian independence of its church in this country, when the Indian Orthodox community stood against the foreign dominance in matters of faith. Even before independence, and as early as the year 1942, in the backdrop of the Second World War, the first liturgical worship was held in the national capital by Father Matthews, who later became the Catholicos Moran Mar Baselios Marthova Matthews II. The turning point defining moment for the growth of Orthodox Christianity in northern India came in the year 1952, with the 19th centenary celebrations of the arrival of St. Thomas in India. The formal launch of a parish in Delhi in 1952 was enriched with the participation of the President of India, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, as well as the Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, both of whom spoke warmly of the St. Thomas tradition as a national legacy. It is worth recalling the words of Rajendra Prasad at the St. Thomas Day celebration on 18 December 1952. Those Indians who trace their Christianity to St. Thomas have a longer history and a higher ancestry than that of Christians of the European countries, and it is really a matter of pride to us that it so happened. The rest is history. Today, the Church is organized into 30 dioceses spread across India, Europe, America, Southeast Asia, West Asia, Africa, and South America. In India, the Church is organized into 7 dioceses outside Kerala, and the Diocese of Delhi is one of the foremost amongst them. The boundaries of the Diocese of Delhi extend to the states of Delhi, Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, and the Gulf region. Today, it comprises of 47 parishes with 21 schools, 2 hospitals, besides a number of community development projects. The welfare of the nation lies in the development of our villages and countryside, said the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. With Christian values as a guiding lamp and with a visionary fervor, a historical and revolutionary step was taken by His Grace Jobmar Philoxenos in 1998, which blossomed in the form of a project named Shantigram. The hallmark of Shantigram is to enlighten the people living in underdeveloped rural villages surrounding the Mandavar village. A Herculean task of community development was set rolling by providing basic stress on 3 major aspects of education, healthcare, and women empowerment. This rural area, about 50 kilometers from the outskirts of Delhi, saw a beautiful dream unfold with the purchase of a sizable 25 acres plot in the lap of nature. In part materialization of this visionary journey, we can now take pride in the Shantigram Vidya Niketan, a CBSE affiliated secondary co-educational school, the Shantigram Health Center, and a Center for Women Empowerment. The Shantigram Vidya Niketan School, with 500 students from surrounding 30 villages, has succeeded in lighting up the young minds towards a brighter future. The school lays stress on holistic development of a child by providing them with inclusive quality education. It would not be an exaggeration to credit this success to the hard work of a committed pool of dedicated staff of Shantigram. Shanti Sadan, a boys' hostel, was started to cater to the needs of students who lived in the remotest areas far away from Mandawar. Today, it has a strength of 35 students. With no hospitals within the radius of 15 kilometers, the Shantigram Healthcare Center makes its presence felt in the region. A team of dedicated health professionals work hard in their mission of healing. From the very beginning, emphasis was also laid on the women by equipping them for a stable tomorrow. Frequent awareness programs are held. Training classes are also conducted to make them self-reliable and provide them with a stable source of livelihood. A women's self-help program, the Shantigram Mahila Swayam Sahayata Samoh, which will encompass initiatives in education, health, hygiene, modern practices in agriculture, help in marketing products and microfinancing, will be inaugurated today. 13th March 2011 is a historic day for the city of Delhi. Today, the Orthodox faithfuls in and around the National Capital Region stand shoulder to shoulder in receiving our Supreme Head, the Malankara Metropolitan and the 91st Catholicos of the East in the lineage of St. Thomas, Moranmar Baselios, Marthoma Paulose II. The Indian Orthodox Church stands united under his leadership, ready to take up challenges in the third millennium in fulfilling the vision of service to humanity.
His Holiness Baselios Marthoma Paulose II is the 91st successor to St. Thomas as the Catholicos of the East and the Malankara Metropolitan. He was born as K.I. Paul on 30th August 1946 in the ancient Syrian Christian family of Kolannur. Attracted to monastic life in 1969, Paul enrolled at the Theological Seminary in Kottayam under the tutelage of His Grace Dr. Paulus Mar Gregorius, Father Abraham and Father Korutham. He completed his theological studies from the Orthodox Theological Seminary and Serampur University. On 2nd June 1973, Deacon Paul was ordained as a priest. On 2nd June 1973, on 15th May 1985, Ramban Paul was ordained as a bishop with the title Paulos Mar Militios at a young age of 38. Metropolitan Paulos Mar Militios was unanimously elected as the Catholicos designate by the Malankara Syrian Christian Association on 12th October 2006. Succeeding from Baselios Marthoma Didymos I, he was enthroned as the Catholicos of the East and the Malankara Metropolitan on 1st November 2010 at Parumala in Kerala. Today, His Holiness looks after a large community spread across India and abroad. Enthroned the Supreme Head at a relatively younger age, a man of piety, prayer and vision. Not only is he an inspiration to the youth, but he also brings cheer to all others who need it the most. The Malankara Orthodox Syrian Church, popularly known as the Indian Orthodox Church, is one of the oldest churches in Christendom, dating back to 52 AD, when St. Thomas, one of the direct disciples of Jesus Christ, came to India and established the church here. Indigenous, dynamic, and devoted to social and welfare activities, it is founded and committed to a tradition of worship, love, and service. That the church in India was founded by St. Thomas the Apostle is attested by West Asian writings since the 2nd century. The early Christians of India were known as Thomas Christians, until the advent of the Portuguese in the 16th century, followed closely by the arrival of the British. The Orthodox Church in India is one of the 37 apostolic churches dating from the time of the disciples of the Christ. The Malankara Orthodox Syrian Church was autonomous then as it is now. The Church in India has remained one at peace with the local community, treasuring the same ethnic and cultural characteristics as the rest of the community. Its members have continued to enjoy the support and goodwill of other religious communities and political class over centuries. The Church entered a new phase of its history with the establishment of the Catholicate in 1912. And this year, 2011, we begin the centenary celebrations of the Catholicate in India. Today, with more than 2 million followers in all parts of India and across different countries and continents in the world, in 24 dioceses, its headquarters is based in Kottayam in Kerala. The head of this ancient and global church is the recently consecrated Catholicos and the Malankara Metropolitan, His Holiness Baselios Marthoma Paulose II. The church has had its presence in the national capital for close to 7 decades, and its first bishop was the globally renowned Metropolitan, Dr. Paulose Mar Gregorius, who passed away onto his heavenly abode in 1996. Today's function will be conducted in 2 parts. The public meeting will conclude with the national anthem. However, the members of the Orthodox Church will continue to stay for a special occasion with His Holiness, during which the churches will be garlanding the Catholicos. The function will be concluded with a Katholika Mangalaganam. Our honored guests will be arriving on the dais shortly. guests are arriving on the dais. Let us all stand. We will now welcome our esteemed guests with floral bouquets. Please be seated. Let us begin the program with an invocation song, a Sanskrit shloka from the Upanishad. My God, you are the creator, protector, omnipresent, omnipotent, a father, mother, brother, sister to all. Let us all kindly stand.
सर्वभूतात्मभूतस्थं सर्वधारं सनातनं सर्वकारणकर्तरं निदानं प्रकृते परं निरामयं निराभासं निरवद्यं निरञ्जनं नित्यानन्दं निराकारम् अद्वैतम् परात्परं तत्त्वं सत्यानन्दं चिदात्मकं मनसा शिरसा नित्यं प्रणमामि रघुत्तमम् माता पिता तथा भ्राता त्वमेव रघुवल्लभा सर्वेषां त्वं परं ब्रह्मं त्वन्मयं सर्वमेव हि
The shloka was rendered by Reverend Father M.P. George, who recently received his doctorate in Syriac music from the International Faculty of Syriac Studies, Oxford University, UK. Congratulations, Reverend Father. Because of his physical ailments, His Grace Jobma Philoxenos, our beloved Metropolitan, is unable to be amongst us today. On his behalf, His Grace Dr. Yuhanon Mar Demetrius, who has recently taken over the mantle of Delhi as the Assistant Metropolitan, will welcome the gathering.
Your Grace Matthews Mar Severios, Metropolitan of the Diocese of Kandanad West and President of this meeting, Your Holiness Moran Mar Baselios, Marthoma Paulose II, Catholicos of the East and Malankara Metropolitan, Sri Sushil Kumar Shinde, Honorable Minister for Power and Chief Guest of the occasion, Sri Wajahat Abibullah, Chairperson of the National Commission for Minorities, Professor K.V. Thomas, Honorable Minister of State for Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, Your Grace Salvatore Pennacchio, Apostolic Nuncio, Your Excellency Vincent Concesao, Archbishop of Delhi, Father Dr. K.M. George, Principal of the Orthodox Theological Seminary, Kottayam, Very Reverend M.S. Skaria Ramban, Secretary of the Diocese of Delhi, Sri M.G. George Muthoot, late Trustee of the Malankara Orthodox Syrian Church, Father Dr. M.P. George, Professor of Sacred Music at the Orthodox Theological Seminary and Director of the Shruti School of Liturgical Music, Your Grace Metropolitan Dionysius of the Diocese of Calcutta, distinguished dignitaries from the IAS, IFS and IPS and other government departments, Reverend Fathers, Sisters, members of the print and visual media, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings and a warm welcome to all of you in the name of the Diocese of Delhi, the Malankara Orthodox Syrian Church and its Metropolitan, His Grace Job Mar Philoxenos, on whose behalf I extend this cordial welcome to one and all. The Malankara Orthodox Church has its historical antecedents that stretch all the way back to AD 52, when St. Thomas, one of the apostles of Jesus, arrived in India. It is a church that is culturally embedded and contributes significantly to the rich pluralism that is such a part of the mosaic that is India. Indeed, the church's history reverberates with its own struggles to breathe free of foreign bondage and has always endeavored for religious harmony, the upliftment of all sections of society, and to offer its resources in the fields of education, medical care to one and all. I proceed to my responsibility, which is to extend a word of warm welcome to all our distinguished guests. Our chief guest for the evening is Sri Sushil Kumar Shinde, the Honorable Minister of Power in the UPA government. Sri Shinde is an efficient minister under whose able leadership this country has seen a major leap in the development of our power resources. His secular credentials are amply attested to by all and is signaled by his presence here this evening. One instance will suffice to underscore this fact. When the Honorable Minister was approached to be the chief guest of this event, he readily cancelled all his other engagements and made an instant commitment to be here this evening. To you, sir, this gathering, the Malankara Orthodox Church and all its representatives extend a most cordial welcome. Our distinguished guest for the evening is Mrs. Sheila Dixit, Honorable Chief Minister of Delhi, who is always attentive to the needs of each community that constitutes this capital city. She is a shining example of the progressive approach of the UPA government and an outstanding instance of its commitment to the empowerment of women. Her programs are aimed to be as inclusive as is possible and aimed at the betterment of all, so that all can become a part of the economic miracle that is sweeping this country. She is not just the Chief Minister but Didi to all. Mrs. Dixit has always expressed a keen interest in the activities of the Malankara Orthodox Church and its community, and her presence promised with us this evening is an enduring testimonial to this. I need to add that it is because of Mrs. Dixit's personal involvement that this meeting was able to be conducted in this beautiful stadium. To Mrs. Sheila Dixit, Honorable Chief Minister of Delhi, and the distinguished guest for our gathering, we extend our most hearty welcome in absentia. His Holiness Baselios Martoma Paulose II was recently consecrated as the 91st Catholicos of the Malankara Orthodox Church and Malankara Metropolitan this past November. He is one of the youngest bishops to be seated on the apostolic throne of St. Thomas. While His Holiness has visited the capital city on previous occasions, it is the first time he is visiting New Delhi in his present capacity. He represents the aspirations and the deep yearning of the members of the Church now into the 21st century, as it enlarges its program of extending education, social care and commitment on the broad canvas that is India. His Christian character and commitment to Christ and the Church underscores the Malankara Church's commitment to ensure that the vision and service of Christ becomes an experience to all. Your Holiness, we, the members of your flock and all the distinguished guests, welcome Your Holiness with all our loyalty, warmth and affection on this Your Holiness's first visit to the capital city as Catholicos of the East and Malankara Metropolitan. Shri Wajahat Habibullah, the chairperson of the National Commission for Minorities, is representing the many communities that constitute Delhi's mosaic. Shri Habibullah is a person who is from the largest minority in India but also committed to ensure that all minorities and communities, that India remains a country that proudly cherishes its plurality. His devotion to ensuring that there is a hospitable climate in which every community, irrespective of its size or strength, can continue to remain secure and grow. What I've stated here will become evident when he presents his felicitations. He is also here in a special capacity to represent the various religious communities here. And to you, Shri Habibullah, we offer our warmest welcome. Professor K.V. Thomas, Honorable Minister of State for Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, is a living example of how religious amity and friendship transcends borders and fences. While he belongs to the Catholic community, every person who approaches him returns with a sense that Professor Thomas has taken a personal care to address his or her issues. It is no wonder that he has been allocated this important portfolio, which so much touches the everyday life of each and every citizen in this country. To you, Sir Professor Thomas, may I extend our warmest welcome to you this evening. Along with the Papal Nuncio, His Grace Salvatore Pinaccio, I extend a warm welcome to His Excellency Vincent Concesao, Archbishop of Delhi, the Catholic Church. Every community in Delhi realizes that the Archbishop has been an extraordinary example who communicates the love and care of Christ to one and all. The close relationship that exists between the Catholic Church and the Malankara Orthodox Church is signaled by His Excellency's willingness to be a part of this event despite his pressing engagements of the day. To Archbishop Vincent Concesao, we extend our warm welcome. I have reserved to now the need to extend a warm welcome to our presiding dignitary, His Grace Dr. Matthew Smart Severios, Metropolitan of the Diocese of Kandanad West and Secretary of the Holy Synod. He is a learned theologian and committed to social welfare. His Grace readily rearranged his itinerary and programs to be present here with us and to preside over this function. To Your Grace, all present here extend our very warm welcome. Excuse me. To the Very Reverend Skaria Ramban, Secretary of the Diocese of Delhi, Father Dr. K.M. George, Father Dr. M.P. George, all distinguished leaders in their respective fields of endeavor, I extend a very warm and special welcome. To Sri George Muthoot, who is a member of the church and lay trustee, we extend a very warm welcome on behalf of all present. Metropolitan Joseph Dionysius of the Diocese of Calcutta, we extend our warm welcome. To all the representatives of the IAS, IFS and government service, we thank you for accepting our invitation to be present here this evening. We extend to you our warm welcome. To all the representatives of the print and visual media who have come here, we also welcome you most warmly to this event. To all the Reverend Fathers, teachers, ladies and gentlemen who have come here this evening, I extend a warm welcome. Welcome one and all to this grand gathering to mark the Malankara Orthodox Church's ministry in the 21st century and reception to His Holiness Baselios Marthoma Paulose II, Catholicos of the East and Malankara Metropolitan. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Grace. I now invite Reverend Dr. K.M. George, an eminent scholar, thinker, author, and the principal of the Orthodox Theological Seminary in Kottayam, to deliver the keynote address of the evening.
Your Holiness, Catholicos Marthoma Paulose II, Honorable Minister Sri Sushil Kumar Shinde, Your Grace Severios, Sri Wajahat Habibullah, Your Eminence Archbishop Vincent Concesao, Honorable Minister Sri K.V. Thomas, Your Grace Demetrios, Very Reverend Skaria Ramban, Sri M.G. George Muthoot, Your Eminence Archbishop Salvatore Pinaccio, Apostolic Nuncio, dignitaries in the audience, dear sisters and brothers. Today, as we gather together in the national capital of our nation, in the presence of some of the distinguished leaders of our country, let us in all humility give thanks to God Almighty and bless His holy name. For marvelous are the ways in which the ancient Orthodox Church of Malankara has been guided by divine providence for the last 2 millennia. From a rather small community in the southwest Malabar coast of faithful and hard-working Christians, loyal to the country and friendly to the neighbors, the Church has now spread her wings far and wide over the face of the earth. The recent archaeological findings of the remains of an ancient city called Pattanam near the ancient port of Kadungalur in Kerala, where the Apostle Thomas is believed to have arrived, are rather sensational it has begun to unveil for us the great confluence of cultures, Roman, Greek, Aramaic and Arab, Chinese and Persian, that took place in the spice country of Kerala long ago. The Indian church was founded in this setting of the dynamic interplay of diverse cultures. 513 years ago, precisely in 1498, when Vasco da Gama, the adventurous Portuguese navigator, landed near Calicut in Kerala, the face of Asia began to change. That momentous event inaugurated the massive colonial era for India and the rest of Asia. The Christian community in Kerala, founded by St. Thomas, the Apostle of Christ, was the first in Asian history to bear the brunt of the colonial invasion. The Indian church was deprived of her language and liturgy, its indigenous social customs, its Eastern spiritual ethos and autonomy during the years of alien rule. But the indomitable Indian church rose in a historic revolt against the foreign yoke in the celebrated Pledge of Queen and Cross in Cochin in 1653. This culminating event anticipated the beginnings of India's political movement for liberation and independence some 200 years later. Today, as we receive in the national capital the new head of the Orthodox Church, His Holiness Baselios Martoma Paulose II, we celebrate the freedom of the Church and of the nation in humility and hope. Let me very briefly indicate some aspects of the hope that we cherish for the new millennium. First of all, the Church has no model to follow except that of Christ, who loved the world and gave himself up for the world. Metropolitan Paulos Mar Gregorios of blessed memory, the renowned theologian, philosopher and spiritual leader and the first bishop of the Orthodox Diocese of Delhi, wrote on the occasion of the 50th year celebration of Orthodox presence in Delhi, quote, "For the Orthodox, the true worship of God with genuine, compassionate love for all is more important than dogma or creed. When there is a failure of love, there is a failure of the Church. For the Church's main task is to manifest that love. Divisions and wars, oppression and exploitation, corruption and injustice, these are basic failures of love, whether in the Church or the lives of nations." It is in this spirit that his successor, the present Metropolitan Job Mar Philoxenos, leads the social and charitable activities of the diocese. In spite of his ill health, he dreams great dreams and ably brings together a team of competent lay people and clergy to implement his vision. His coadjutor bishop, Dr. Yohanan Mar Demetrios, well-known biblical scholar, teacher and ecumenist, is God's gift to the diocese to continue the great work. Secondly, it's a privilege for the Christian Church to be integrally associated with the life of our great nation. The richness of our country's cultural traditions, the diversity of its religious beliefs and practices are unique in the world. Look at the nations of the world. Travel across the globe, crisscross the cultures of the earth. Then you see that India is truly incredible. Yes, the incredible India, as they say, the Adulya Bharat. It is now that the monocultural Western world begins to speak about religious pluralism as if it is a new discovery. Our country has